Codey Orgill is an Australian lifestyle vlogger. He loves bicycle touring. He has completed bike tours in the US, Japan, and Tasmania, and is currently preparing for an epic journey around Australia. Another passion of his is thrifting, which means going to thrift stores, finding deals, and selling that online on Amazon, eBay, or Etsy. We're going to talk about that as well. Codey, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Tice. Good to be here.
Nice. The audio is not, maybe my audio seems to sometimes block out, so just in case, I'm going to put on my recorder. There we go. All right. Yeah, I can cut this out. This is like behind the scenes. I mean, sometimes I leave it in, but like my mom, like I'm in the living room. Like my room upstairs doesn't have sufficient internet, so it's super stupid. I need to sit downstairs, and my dad is at home right now, but he just
need like some kind of extender or something like that.
Yeah, I do, but it's not good enough. And I'm only here for like a month now, so it's just it's fine. Anyhow, so yeah, Codey, nice to have you here. I know you from, I think I've been following you for about a year now. I know you from the College Picker. That's how I know about your channel. And I've not seen every vlog, but I've seen quite a lot of them. And yeah, I really like your attitude. We were kind of on the same page. We're both adventurers, and you like bike touring as well as me. So yeah, my first question is, what has gotten you into bike touring? Like, were there any people that got you into?
Yeah, so pretty much, I reckon CP pretty much got me onto bike touring. It's a pretty crazy story how it all worked out. Like, if I want to go right back to the beginning, I kind of like, before really meeting him in person or anything like that, I was just sort of watching what he was doing because he was bicycle touring across the United States. And this was before I went to this meetup. It's called the Green Room Meetup. It's kind of like a business sort of conference where you get together and you talk with like-minded people about just selling on eBay and on Amazon and things like that. So I kind of just flew over to the States just to do this conference. And out of nowhere, CP, he just invited me to come along on this bike tour that he was doing. It's quite crazy how it worked out. And I was not prepared for it at all. Didn't have a bike, didn't have anything like that. He lent me his bike. He had a Navara Rangini, I think it's called. It's like a early 2000s touring bike, if I'm correct. And he lent it to me. He literally gifted it to me to let me ride it across the States with him. And he went to a pawn shop, which is like a secondhand kind of dealer store. And he brought his own bike as well, and then we just sort of rode together across the States. And that's pretty much how I got started in it. Now, I've been cycling for quite a while before that, just like general, road cycling and things. And I've always ridden a BMX or something when I was a kid at, 10 years old or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much where it all started.
Nice, cool. That's awesome. So you rode with him across the US, right? Like from east to west?
So I started in Austin, Texas, which is in the center of the country. And we pretty much rode all the way out to Phoenix, Arizona. And then from there, we parted ways. And I caught a plane. I flew up to Seattle in Washington. And I rode the West Coast down to San Francisco. And then from San Francisco, I flew back home from there. So it wasn't like the iconic west to east kind of ride or anything like that. It was unprepared. And yeah, I was just along for the journey pretty much. So.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. And you also vlogged it, right? Because I saw I was scrolling through the vlogs. You also made some videos there. That's really awesome.
Yeah, the early vlogs, they weren't too good, but we did vlog every day of that as well.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's so awesome, man. Yeah, I think for me as well, like the vlogging has been such a benefit. I don't know if you've had like encounters of people that knew you from the vlog and you were in the area. I've had it a couple times happening.
Yeah, that's cool when it happens. Yeah, like I've did like op shopping and stuff, and I go to thrift stores. I meet people that I know in there and stuff like that. It's really cool to have that connection. Really? Icebreaker. Someone comes up to you, says hello. It's so cool. It's really awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but like you were saying about like creating vlogs and stuff, it's also cool to look back in a couple of years' time. Like I was looking back on those American videos that I did in 2016, 2 years ago, and it's just memories that like you can live back. You can go back to that day and live through that memory. It's really cool.
Yeah, if you don't do it, like you forget about it. Like your memory cannot like remember all those little adventures. And when you watch these videos, you can pull it all back up. Like
exactly.
Right. Yeah. I love it too. It's really recommended, but it's a lot of work. You know, I don't know how
Sure.
long you like edit one video, like how long that takes for you.
I would say roughly an hour to an hour and a half if I want to get it done
Okay.
quickly. But if I wanted to sit down and get a really good edit, it's probably going to take maybe a bit longer, maybe 2 hours or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, about I can do it under an hour, but then they are really like rough edits
Yeah,
and
exactly.
not too proud of it, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So, yeah, my second question is also about the US bike tour. What is the main thing you learned from that bike tour?
So I guess there wasn't really one main thing. I kind of learned a few things. So I guess I've written down some notes here. So the first thing that I kind of learnt was that we don't really need that many things. Like just in general for bike touring, like that's what it's taught me is like you can have less things and be happy with what you have pretty much. And it's kind of a necessity to have like less things on the bike because you don't want to be carrying so much stuff. But I think in today's society, like we often get caught up, like whether it's through, I don't know, like, advertisements on TV, like buy this, buy that, like keeping up with the Joneses, like buying new things, like and getting caught in that trap. So yeah, I guess having that said, like having less is kind of more when you're bike touring, and I don't know. Yeah.
Simple life.
Did you agree?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah, totally. Like also like the way that you, I don't know, like consume and stuff. Like for example, water consumption. Like I can when I'm wild camping, I can have a shower with this much water and I can feel clean. While at home, you need like gallons and gallons of water.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's just one of the things. But also, yeah. I mean, I've toned down my gear. I used to have like 40 kilos of stuff, and on the second trip, I only had like 25. Well, a lot of it was winter gear on the first trip because I rode through winter. But yeah, I mean, right now I even like I don't need that shirt. Like I wore maybe 3 shirts in total, but still, it's enough. If you can clean one. Same as pants. Like if you can put one in the washer and you still have one, that's all you need. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Japan. So afterwards, you toured in Japan also with Eric, right, from the College Picker.
Yeah, that's correct.
And yeah, how was that experience?
Well, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was probably like my favorite, I'd have to say, bike tour of the only 3 that I've done. But it was quite an awesome experience. Japan is an amazing country. It's really technically, like it's really advanced in technology, if you want to put it that way. So it's, yeah, quite advanced in that respect. And the people are amazing and just, so welcoming. And the country's, it seems like the country's sort of built for cycling pretty much. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was an awesome experience for sure.
Yeah, and you also vlogged there. I mean, yeah, you did all the things. You got better at vlogging. I saw that.
Yeah, thanks.
It's better.
Yeah, we definitely improved. And that was more of a daily thing. So we were uploading like every night. We'd cycle like
that's crazy.
And we'd upload that night, sort of thing. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to do it as well, but did you like vlog like every single day? Because sometimes like I have a day when I edit all the videos that I shot like the past like 5 or 6 days, and I edit them all in one go, and then I move on. Did you also have that, or?
I mean, like maybe we would have done it a couple of days if we got sidetracked. I think we had a couple of days there where we just stayed in the library all day if it was raining or something, and worked away and edited. But most of the time we were doing it at night. Like we're editing yesterday's video that night, and then uploading that sort of night or the morning, depending on what the schedule was like. But it is quite work intensive, and I don't know if it's sustainable for the long term. I kind of felt myself getting a little bit burnt out after the 30 days or so. But that's something I want to try and do for my upcoming tour, is to post daily, but it's going to be quite the challenge because Australia's Wi-Fi is quite difficult, and it's remote and area things.
Yeah, and I think Japan is also like, yeah. I mean, Japan is like, you got pretty much people everywhere, I mean, you have a few nature areas, but you always have like a little shop or a cafe where you can have Wi-Fi. And I've seen videos like there are plugs everywhere in like city parks or something. You found like plugs.
Yeah, Japan's amazing for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I am dying to go there. Like it's kind of.
Are you going there?
Maybe. I'm first going to Australia. You know about that. I'm gonna be there for 3 to 4 months, and I've got my friend there called Joseph from the One Road. he wants to go to Japan afterwards. He really wants to go there. So maybe I'm going to join him on that trip. So
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
right. And you did a lot of what do you call that? The travel style in Japan was very budgety, right? Like you camped out in parks and all that sort of stuff. Like is that normal there, or how do the people view that there?
Oh, dude, that was actually quite amazing because we just camped at like random parks out in the open. We slept on the ground most of the time. I didn't really sleep in a tent. I didn't even have a tent. I just slept in CPs like when it was, really wet or the mosquitoes are out or whatever like that. But yeah, most of the time we were just sleeping in public parks. There was one time where there was actually quite a few times where the locals were sort of not intruding because it's their local sort of get together in the mornings. They'd get there and do their exercises. Like the elderly would go and do like group exercises in the morning and stuff. And we were like sleeping right on the field where they was like playing like golf or whatever they were doing.
Yeah, I saw it.
It was crazy. Yeah. I was setting up like this golf game when I was still sleeping, and I'm like, oh, I better get out of here. See you later. It was crazy. Yeah.
I saw they were like waiting for you to wake up or something. I saw that vlog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah. And you explore a lot of abandoned houses there. Like, yeah. Do you see, because the population of Japan is declining, right? Like, do you see that in the daily, in the appearance of the country?
Yeah, they seem to have an abandoned building problem or something like that. It must be something to do with their population decreasing or something. And they've just got this excess of abandoned buildings just being, just abandoned. So we had quite a few of those to explore, which was pretty cool and creepy at the same time. But yeah, that was quite the experience.
Cool. Awesome. So should we move on to Tasmania? Because that was your most recent bike tour, right?
Yep.
Let's see. Which is, I mean, for you live in Melbourne, right? That area.
Yeah. Kind of just out of the city there, yeah.
Right. So it's not far from your home ground. And here I had the question, do you have any recommendations for people that want to cycle there?
Well, I didn't really cycle that much of the state. I kind of just did sort of the East Coast. I guess my recommendation would be like, it's quite a wet climate, so to speak. So if you want to go there, I guess you got to pick the right time to go there, or just be prepared for the wet weather. I didn't really know about that, and I went there, and it was kind of a miserable at times, having to put up with the rain day in, day out. And I hear like on the West Coast, it's quite wet because most of that side of the state is just all wilderness kind of thing. So it's kind of a long stretch to ride from one point to the other. So I don't know if that's like, if I'm answering your question correctly, if that's a good recommendation or not, but that's pretty much all I had for that one.
Right.
It's just sort of be prepared in that respect.
Yeah. So you went there in winter, summer. You would recommend summer, right? Like summertime would be the best.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think, I don't know how long ago it was. It was maybe 6 months. I'm not sure how long ago it was. But yeah, definitely go like in the summer or something like that.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's cool because it's like named after a Dutch guy that like explored the whole area. And New Zealand is still, it's called after the province Zeeland in Holland. And I think Australia used to be called New Holland because that's where basically where I live. I live in South Holland, is the province where I live. So there is this connection between us and Australia somewhere distant,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. That's
because we are originally from sort of Europe area and all that kind of stuff. Where yeah,
it's crazy. Oh, that's another question that I was kind of like to continue on this. I've heard from Joseph that he cycled from Sydney to Perth, and he said that the Aboriginals, like the community, is kind of sad, or it's being, I don't know, put in a corner. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I guess it kind of has to do with our history. I mean like white people and Aboriginals, because we kind of disrespected them, early on, and we kind of did some bad stuff. And I think that's just yeah, I don't want to sort of talk on their behalf about it, but it's just, I guess, some kind of friction there between the two in respects to that. And I know like they don't, it's kind of a, they kind of don't really like it. That's
Right. Yeah, that they put like, I mean, it's history, of course, and
but I guess you just got to move on, and
yeah, of course. Right.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on to your setup. So during your tours, what was your setup like? Do you have like the classic for panniers, or did you change your setup over time?
Yeah, so it's pretty much been just back panniers. I may have had like front panniers here and there. I know on the Japan tour I had front and back, but then I kind of ditched the front ones and just decided to live with less stuff. And I think in the States with the Navara setup that CP gifted me, I just had the back panniers, and it's just been back panniers ever since. Just been classic touring setup, not like bike packing. Like even though bike packing seems to be really trendy, and I kind of like that sort of style of the lightweight road biking sort of thing. But yeah, it's just been traditional bike touring with the back panniers pretty much the whole time. Although, like I didn't really talk about my very, very first bike tour. If you really want me to get into it, it was kind of like a real failure. Like I started, like it was with my road bike that I used just to ride with the group bunches on a Saturday or something like that. And I brought these really, really cheap panniers that were like $20 off eBay, and they ended up ripping like in the second day. And I had to like use zip ties to tie it back up. And that tour was just a complete failure. But other than that, it's just been legit like touring bike with rear panniers.
Yeah. That's cool because like I don't really talk about this either, but I used to like my first ever bike tour, like multi-day trip, was on a recumbent bike, and that I can call also like a huge failure because I don't know, I really didn't enjoy it. And even afterwards I got home, I don't know if you had this too, but I had this brief moment where I thought maybe this is not for me. I was on the brink of giving up there, really.
Yeah. I kind of had the same experience as well, because I packed stupidly, I packed way more clothing than I did food or supplies or anything like that. I was not prepared at all. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just there to ride. I didn't even stop to like rest or anything. I was so stupid.
Yeah.
And I got like, I think I rode like 300 kilometers, and then I asked my mum and dad to come pick me up.
Okay. Right.
So yeah, I've learned a lot since.
I still made it back home, but I don't know how. Like, I don't know how I did that. But I just remember, like, I was longing at the time as well, and I've got like 3 videos of that online, and I seemed pretty doing okay, but it was horrible. It was suffering, but I did learn from it, and I moved on, and I'm glad I did, and I think you're glad you did that too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it's good. Anyhow, let's go to the next one. So yeah, your bike tour through Australia, what you're preparing right now, like 15,000 kilometers. That's a lot. So yeah, how's the preparation going? And how do you look at the long empty stretches of Australia that you will hit?
Yeah, so I haven't really talked about this much, like whether it's on my YouTube channel or anything like that. It's kind of something that I have in the works at the moment, but I'm not sure when I'm going to leave, maybe in a month or so. We'll see. But yeah, I'm planning on riding, sort of like circumnavigating Australia in a way, like just along the coast, anti-clockwise, and it works out to be about that much. But it's always something that I've wanted to do, but I've just never gotten to doing it. I've always wanted to explore my own country. Like I've only been to maybe 3 or 4 states. I haven't really explored the whole country. So it'd be something that I really wanted to do. But yeah, I guess with the like the preparation, I have I just got to buy a few things for the bike from my previous tour that sort of aren't working on the bike or whatever. Like the brake pads are pretty worn down. I got to get some more brake pads and things like that. I just got to, service the bike and fix it up and get it ready to go again. And that's pretty much all the preparation. I don't know. I don't really do much preparation in terms of like routes and stuff, like where I'm riding. I guess I just deal with that day in, day out kind of thing. Like each day I'll just plan it.
Right.
Yeah. I like the empty stretches. I think that's something really got to be prepared for, because there is some stretches, especially in Darwin and up north, where I believe anyway, it's going to be quite a long distance between towns and stuff. So I got to stock up water and food,
Right.
especially.
Yeah.
Be
A lot of
prepared for
water.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be hot there. Like it's like jungle climate up there, right?
I believe so. Yeah, it's very hot. Yeah, like humid
Yeah,
and
crazy.
stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've also like I know from Joseph, we kept in contact over the phone when he was cycling from Sydney to Perth. And
How did he go across the Nullarbor?
yeah, he went across. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was he said it was the hardest thing he has ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had like 180 kilometers between roadhouses, like not even towns, but just like you get stuck up on things, you know. And it's expensive there. I've heard that's like a chocolate bar for like $10 or something like that.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
maybe not that crazy, but what he said was pretty crazy. And he was also low on money, so that's didn't help. But he said it was a good experience for sure. Oh man, I'm so like. Have you ever, just out of curiosity, have you ever been to Europe before?
No, I haven't. That's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to go there because it's quite amazing. Like it's all these countries like joined together. It's crazy looking at it like from the perspective of being in Australia on a continent.
It's so funny. I know. Yeah.
It's like you have quite access to other countries, right? Like can you get to China and stuff like that?
Well, China is far. No, we don't do that.
I don't really know my geography of the north, like up that way.
Well, let's put it this way. I mean, like we have the European.
I had a map up here, right?
Yeah. Okay. But we have the European Union, and like all the borders are open. So I can go to Belgium a 1 day ride, and I'm in a different country, you know, and that's pretty cool. I can go to Germany. That would take maybe 2 days from where I am right now. Like the distance I did yesterday, I could easily make it to Belgium and, you know, explore that. And it's like, I mean, in Belgium, they speak the same language, but it's Flemish. It's a different accent. But of course, it's different language, different ways the road works. I mean, Europe, you can kind of see it this way. The landscape is really similar. Like you have a crazy amount of farms, like it's endless. Every now and then a forest, and you have a few mountain ranges here and there. But the each country has its own little flavor of European style, you know. That's what I really like about also cycling through Europe, because I only did in total about 6,000 kilometers, and I've already seen 13 countries or something like that, and different language, different culture, different uses, and yeah, it's cool. It's really interesting.
Wow, that is awesome. So, bike touring in Europe is quite popular as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, a lot of like you have. Maybe you should note this. Eurovelo. Maybe you've heard about me talking about it. But that's like an international. You know, goes through Europe, all these cycle routes, and if you follow those, then you're most likely go onto good roads, because there are some bad ones, especially in Eastern Europe. You can get onto really bad roads. But yeah, I mean, I use this app called Locus. Like in Australia, it's a little different because most of the time you only have a few roads to choose from. But here, especially in Holland, it's insane. Like we've got this cycling network here, and it's like so many. Like through the whole country, you can take maybe like 100 different routes to the point of destination. And I just use I sometimes I just give up. I just commit, and I'll let myself be led to my destination. But yeah, a lot of people, very packed. It's a very continent. But it's interesting because, you know, we compare, like we think that Australia is not so big as it actually is. So I say to my parents, like, okay, Australia is as big as Europe, but then you kill all of European population and you keep the population of Holland, Belgium, and Luxembourg, and you spread it out over Europe, you get Australia, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. I was looking at the numbers for California, and there's more people in California than there is in the whole of Australia. It's just so crazy.
Insane. Like that's, you know, you're curious about Europe, but I'm so curious about Australia. There's like huge empty stretches, because here, even in Holland, like you always see a sign of civilization. You know, you can't go. I mean, there are some forests, like we got a big park in the middle of the country, but for the rest, there's always people. You know, there's always, and everywhere you go, Even in those nature areas, of course, you get tourists going there. And I even went to like southern Poland to climb this mountain, and it was like pretty like far off the beaten path. Still, like it was like a pilgrimage, like all these people going to that point. So yeah, it will be a cool change to see Australia then. Yeah, I'm pumped, man. I'm really pumped.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for you as well because I'll be working for the first 3 or 4 months, but you'll be going to cycle, and that's sort of my next question right now. Because you have another passion called thrifting.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's new to me. So could you explain, in a short way, like what it is exactly?
Yeah. So pretty much what it is, it's just going to like thrift stores, op shops, charity shops, just places where the stores gather all donated goods that have been donated from the public, and they sell them for pretty cheap prices. And that's where you go in, you find the items that are cheap, and you sell them online, like places like eBay, Amazon, where there's a demand and there's a market for them. And yeah, you just pretty much sell the stuff online. So do you have like op shops or charity shops or anything like that?
Well, that's the thing. I have actually really considered doing it here in Holland, but it's harder. Like we don't have as good access to places like eBay or Amazon. Like for example, we don't have a Dutch Amazon website. We use a German website, and then you have to do with international shipping. I think there must be people that are pulling it off.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot harder here. And that's sort of also like, because I'm going to Australia, I was considering doing it there.
it's definitely something you could do while you're there. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Oh, that's good to hear. Because I mean, we've been looking into, like Joseph and I've been looking into some jobs, but it's like a newspaper round or a supermarket job, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm really into that. And I think that this is a really interesting way to make money. But we don't really have like, we have like Goodwills and that sort of stuff. Like we have a few small like secondhand stores, but it's not so big,
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, people like to keep things here. We're
I guess
less.
that's a good thing in a way, because it's because in a way, I guess people that like, it's less of a throwaway society kind of thing. So it's better for the environment, I guess.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. I mean, people also here live like in smaller spaces, and we try to keep a lot. So if you go to these secondhand stores, it's often also stuff that you like, it's like really worn down. You don't find like new like range that sort of stuff. So it's like you go to a thrift store, and do you do your research beforehand? Or I've heard of this app of, I think it's eBay, that you can scan an item in the thrift store and you can see how much it goes online.
Yeah, that's correct. So if it does have like a barcode or anything like that, I'll scan it. So with that eBay, I normally like sell, like if you see behind me, like I have clothing hung up here. So I normally like buy and sell clothing, like shoes, clothes, sometimes electronics and things like that. And you just got to sort of know what the brand is. You type in the brand, and like if it's a denim jacket, you write that in there, and you check on the sold, because it has sold listings. So it shows you what is sold in the past, and it gives you an idea of what you could sell yours for. And that's where you make your buying decision. And I'm also selling on Amazon as well, but it's Amazon in the States. We have Amazon here, but it's pretty early, and I'm not too familiar with it at the moment. So I'm selling over in the States. So I'm sending out boxes of books. So I'm buying books and I'm packing them in a big box and sending them out. And then when they sell, Amazon will ship the item out for me if it sells, and deal with customer service and all that. So that's really awesome.
That's amazing.
Like. So I'm working with that.
Yeah. Oh, is that like your full income, or do you have a job on the side?
So yeah, this is pretty much my full income, and I'm trying to build other income streams as well around this, around the e-commerce kind of thing. I used to have a job, but for me personally, I don't know. I just kind of don't really like working for somebody else, and it's kind of I just don't really like it. I worked at a pizza shop and a restaurant. I was getting into hospitality to be a chef and things, and that kind of didn't really work out for me. So I just sort of, I'm like, all right, I'll just do my own thing and see how I go. So I've just been doing that.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool to, like, you can just go on a 5-month bike tour. You don't have to worry about your boss, being angry or something like that.
Yeah, I like the freedom.
Like, oh, sure. Definitely. Yeah, that's also like, I've heard people say that I should get a job here in Holland for this month, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like even some good, like if I were to like, for example, code, like I know a little bit of website making, then I could get a job really easily, but I don't feel ready for it because I can already feel that I'm getting a bit crazy. I need to go out. And,
yeah, it seems like you're setting up your life for travel in the long term, correct?
yeah, definitely. And
I don't like being fixed to the one location kind of thing.
Oh, I hate it. I know. Yeah. That's why I did like 200 kilometers yesterday. I really wanted to explore new places I've never been to before.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. But so yeah, you could say that thrifting is really something that you could do. Yeah, I'm really interested in that. Like, what has been your biggest score in thrifting?
Oh, that's a tough one. I've had quite a few good scores. Something that's quite relevant to this podcast. I picked up a bicycle, but it was a Yamaha. You know the Yamaha motorbikes.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of the brand? Yeah. So it was like a bicycle, but it was like a motorbike frame. But it was like a pedal bicycle. It's like one of those old school bikes. I picked it up for like $20 from the local op shop down the road here.
Wow.
And it's worth over $1,000. It was crazy.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
and there was this other time where I picked up like a bulk lot of jeans, brand new with tags. I think I paid like $400 for like 80 pairs of jeans, and I ended up selling them all for like $6,000. Eventually, when they all sold.
Nice.
So there's been quite a few scores. I've had quite a few others as well. Yeah, like $300 flips here and there. It's really awesome. Like it's quite the adrenaline rush when you either find something in the wild that's really cheap and you know you're going to sell it for quite some money. It's you get that endorphin rush, whatever it's called. It's really
yeah, right. Adrenaline rush or something. Yeah. Well, what's your average? Like, just to bring people's like expectations down a little bit.
Yeah, of course. So
average.
I've been playing with it at the moment. I'm trying to just pick up items that are like $50 or more in value. So it's just worth my time to, go out. I used to be like when I was starting out, I was buying $20, $30 items, sort of like my bread and butter items that were the base. And then whenever I'd find something big, that's just icing on the cake kind of thing. Right. But yeah, for me personally at the moment, it's like around $50 or so.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good, I would say. I think it's better than working for like, I don't know, a set time per hour, like, because you don't have a limit, you can go and, like make crazy scores and it can go anywhere really, it can go down a lot, but it can also go up a lot, and it's different than, working hourly for someone. So I might give it a try when I'm there. Besides my web business, which is not going great at the moment, but I just need to put some work into it. All right.
Do you have some clients on the go with that?
At the moment, some people in my that I knew from YouTube, they have their own YouTube channel and they want the website, but of course I don't have too much money, so like I make a website for them quite well, and then it's like maybe 200 or 300 euros for it, so it's pretty okay. I mean, right now I live at my parents' house. My expenses is pretty much zero almost, which helps. But when I'm going back on the road, it will be a lot higher, and I would have to find probably other ways, or really I just should put more time into it. But I like YouTube too much, and I like making videos. I don't know for you, but for me, it's like it doesn't make much money. It makes like a little amount, and I got my Patreon, which helps a lot.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, that really helps.
It'd be cool to make this like a career or make some kind of income out of it in the future.
That's the dream. That's the dream.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're about it, because of course, you have got your YouTube channel, and do you want to let it grow over time, or how do you see it going?
Sorry, my YouTube channel?
Yeah, your YouTube channel. Like, how do you want to see it grow in the future? Or do you
I'd obviously like to gain more subscribers and grow, but I think that comes through the effort. So We just got to keep uploading. I was watching some kind of content like to help me, like it's called this 10x strategy, where you create like videos that are trending and stuff like that, and you gain like interest on. Yeah. So yeah, for sure, I'd love to grow it a lot more than what it is at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. You know, it's of course part of the income, but it's also like the impact you get and the community you can grow with that. You know, that's really great. Anyhow, let's go back. I had one more question about the thrifting because do you see like I hear it a lot more around me than, for example, a year ago. Like, do you see any trends in the thrifting world?
Well, what do you mean by like trends?
I don't know, like, do you see it grow, like more interest, or are there maybe any particular items that are like very hot right now, or is it?
Okay, so it's quite like the whole like thrifting niche is definitely growing. I can see that. Like there's been like huge interest. Like there's been some really influential people, like business people, that have been talking about it. For example, Gary Vaynerchuk, he's like been really into like sharing like, the flipping thing.
Yeah.
You've watched it, yeah. So yeah, and that seems to have gained a lot of interest from people who have just gone out, tried to make some money. You know, just a little bit of extra income for their to help their family or whatever it is. So yeah, I've seen it grow. I've been doing it for maybe like, I don't know, 4 years or so now. And yeah, since that time when I first started, it was pretty popular, but it's definitely a lot more popular now for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I listened to him. He's like, it's super simple. You just buy stuff for cheap and you sell it online. Like even like you have these sites on, I think it's like Craigslist, like pick up for free, and then you sell it somewhere else because it's so easy, you know. It's and I think I can even do that here in Holland because we also have that site. We have a Marktplaats, kind of like a Craigslist site, and you also have the free section. And sometimes you do have items that are really good, you know, just have to look out for them. Yeah, that's really cool, man. Yeah. All right, yeah. So for the last question about the thrifting, do you have any tips for people like me that want to get into it and send them in a good direction?
Yeah. So probably like eBay is the best way to go. And I guess like you want to like sort of do your research in regards to like what items are good. Like I'm constantly like going on eBay and checking the sold listings and going to specific categories, like whether it's in clothing, like I'm looking at like jackets or seeing like what brands are popular. And so then when you're out in the field or you're out in the thrift stores or whatever, you can keep your eye out for that sort of stuff. And I think it's just like a really good tip just to be educated about what to buy and what to sell. And that's gained through whether it's experience and doing like going out there and just picking up stuff, or you can even, you know, like I said, do your research like on the eBay solds. But there's not really much to it, to be honest. It's just buying stuff at a cheaper price and selling it, to be honest. So it's pretty easy. Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, I know. I had another question about it. Yeah, well, like the difference between eBay and Amazon, like is there a big, like what items do you list on eBay and what items do you list on Amazon?
Yeah, so Amazon, I'm only just selling books, used books.
Okay.
I didn't really think it's pretty crazy. Like people are still buying books these days. I guess they need for like school and stuff. But yeah, there's definitely a demand there for that. But Amazon's mostly new stuff, I believe, but they do sell used books. Like you can't really sell used clothing and stuff that has faults. Like say like shoes and stuff, like they have wear on the bottom and stuff like that. It's probably not the best place to sell it on Amazon. That's why you got to sell it on eBay, because people are, you know, on eBay, it's more of like the Wild West kind of thing. Like people who are on, like if you're selling stuff on eBay, it's not like brand new and you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
It's like used. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And is it also like, is it all like sending out? Because here in Holland, like we've got this Craigslist site, but it's often, or they pick it up, they come to your house, pick it up, or you can send it out. But that depends on the buyer, really, like what he wants. Like how is
so
it on eBay?
So with eBay, that's why I'm sort of moving away from eBay a little bit, and I'm trying to build my Amazon because it's much more on autopilot. All you really need to focus on for the Amazon side of it is just getting the inventory and sending it out, and then it's pretty much done from there. But with eBay, you got to get the inventory, you got to take photos of it, you got to list it, describe like, you know, get into real detail about the individual item because it's a used item, so you got to be specific with describing its condition and stuff. Then when it sells, you got to package it, send it out, and I go down to the post office and I like drop off the parcels. So it's quite a labor intensive gig sort of thing, and it's not kind of, it doesn't really work with the lifestyle that I want to create in terms of traveling and stuff. And I mean, when I'm traveling and I have the eBay business running in the background, I get my mum to help me. So whenever I sell stuff, I tell her like, this jacket, oh, can you send this out for me? And she'll package it up and send it out, which I'm really grateful for. And it's awesome that she does that. But I don't really want to, you know, I don't want to rely on her to do it too much of the time. So that's why I'm sort of focusing on the autopilot side of it in terms of like Amazon and stuff. But I think eBay have rolled out a new service where you can actually send in stuff to the warehouse. So that could be something to look into.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever, you have tried drop shipping as well, right? Like, which is like really on autopilot. Like, how did that work?
That's definitely a cool business model. And I didn't really give it that much time. It was kind of just a little side thing that I had a little go at and completely failed. But I'm sure if you really watched a really good Udemy course or something and learnt about it, you could really do pretty well on it. But for me personally, I haven't really been successful in it. But I know there's a lot of people that do. I don't know people personally, but I know there's people out there that do pretty well with it. Yeah,
right. Yeah, same. Like in my family, like I'm already doing like what I'm doing right now is already like too weird. So you know, it's all like getting a job or just, you know, staying at home. And but no, yeah, that's really cool. That's also like part of the reason why I do this podcast, to surround myself with people that are kind of in the same mindset of like trying new things. And, you know, that's what I love about it. All right, let's move on. The last thing I wanted to talk about is the van life, because I don't have my driver's license, but I see a lot of my comments actually saying that I should try van life. And I know that you are currently sort of like a side project, right? You're working on a van and maybe doing some trips here and there, and you've done some van trips.
Yeah.
So yeah, how does it exactly differ from bike touring, and like what are the main differences?
Yeah, so I haven't really gone on that much of a van life trip kind of thing. I've probably only spent maybe like 2 weeks on the road because my van isn't quite built out properly yet. I still need to get like solar panels, and I really want to make it an environment where it's really comfortable to live in, so to speak. So that's kind of one difference, is it's really it's kind of like a house on wheels. So I kind of want it to be sustainable, where I can work in there and get power without having to go into like a McDonald's or something like that to charge my laptop and get their Wi-Fi and stuff. So yeah, I want to build out the van properly before I go on like a main tour or trip. And and that's sort of like a long-term travel plan for me. Like I want to sort of live life on the road in the van, which would be pretty cool.
Cool.
But yeah, for sure, like van life is definitely different, I'd say, to bicycle touring, because you know you're more sort of like vulnerable on a bike, kind of against the elements in a way.
I get that.
So like you got to sleep in a tent, or you've been sleeping in hotels and stuff like that, I think, haven't you? So
also but also in a tent, like in nature. And also like I've been thinking, like here in Europe we don't really have many bears, but if I go to Alaska and cycle there, you know, you don't have much protection if a bear comes roaring to you, you know?
Oh yeah.
That's the thing that I worry about.
Yeah. And I guess van touring or van life is a bit more expensive as well, because you got to pay for petrol and things like that. Yeah. With bike touring, it's just the petrol you put in the tummy. So
I know. And I've seen like a graph saying like the cycling is the most efficient thing, because it was, what was the number? I think it's 1 liter goes 360 kilometers or something when you're cycling, like equivalent of the energy of 1 liter of gas that you put in your stomach, then in like different ways. I don't know how he calculated that.
It's definitely like probably the most cheapest way to travel around, for sure.
I think so. Yeah.
That's what's so appealing to me about it, is like it's a really cheap way to travel. Like you can save so much money and see incredible places. You can do it cheap. Really incredible experiences. Sorry.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, you're totally right about that. You know, I mean, that's also the freedom of bike touring. You can do it extremely cheap, and you can do. Like some people, they call it like credit card touring, that they only bring a credit card and then they go to hotels and stuff. And that will of course be more expensive. But yeah, that's also why I love it. So your van life project is sort of on hold as you cycle around Australia.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. And then when I get back, I'll probably get van life on the go or something like. It didn't go to plan because at the start of the year I brought the van and I've been working on it, and I thought I was going to be on the road in a couple of months, and that did not go to plan. So that hasn't worked out properly. But it's still something that I'm working on in the background. And I had thoughts about selling the van as well because I can actually make profit on it because I brought it pretty cheap and it's
right.
pretty valuable, that type of van. So that did cross my mind, but I'm going to hold on to it because it is kind of a pretty cool thing to have. So you can just get away for the weekend or do whatever you want.
Right.
But yeah, I was going to say something else about, also like, I guess with van life, it's a lot different in terms, because like if you're traveling by car around like a country or something, everything goes by so quickly. Like when you're bike touring, you get to just soak in, and you get to really be connected and just see so many more things that you wouldn't see if you were just flying by in a car or whatever.
Yeah, and that's also my concern. Like, I still have to go for my driver's license, so that means that I'll have to stay in Holland for another 6 months to get it. So I'm like, well, I want to do that. Like, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I want to try it out. I want to give it a try, maybe like as a passenger of someone else, van lifing, maybe someone.
It's probably something to do when you're a bit older, I think, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because I really think bike touring is just so much more epic than just sitting in a car and traveling. So that's why I'm sort of postponing it a little bit because I really want to just bike tour because I really think that's like the ultimate way to travel for sure.
Right. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, it's true. I think. I mean, right now I think it's true, but once my knees start to hurt, or I can already like Joseph. He's been cycling since he's 16 years old. He's been going through Europe, America, from east to west, north to south, and now in New Zealand and Australia. And he can tell already that his muscles are starting to, or his what are those, like your hinges, your knees and that sort of stuff,
like Achilles and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's already starting to like play parts in some ways, and he got a little hernia as well. So just be careful with it, but and you get the freedom. Like, don't go 200 kilometers per day. Like don't try to be the fastest. Like some.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you see Mark Beaumont. He traveled around the world in 80 days on a bike.
Wow, dude, that's awesome.
It's like 350 kilometers per day. That's
3 times what I'd do in a day or even more. Like I probably only do like 100 Ks a day. How many kilometers would you travel, do you think?
Average?
Like I'll probably like over exaggerating, but like 100 is probably like the most for a day. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a good day. It's a long day if you do that.
Yeah, sure.
In Australia, like there will be like times where you just have road. You don't have like places. That's often a time consumer. You go places to explore, and that's good. Be open to places to explore along the way. Because something. Sometimes you pass something by, it looks interesting, or something like that, and then you can't go back, or maybe you go back in a couple of years from now, but still.
It's so right. It's so dependent on like the country, because I remember like Japan, we didn't really cycle that much at all. Like maybe it was like 30K days, 50K days, because it's such a small country. In the States, it's so big and vast as well. So like we'd cover, and I guess it depends like what your goals are and stuff. Like if you just want to ride or ride to document it, then you stop and stuff like that.
That's definitely a big difference, because that's also like yesterday I did 200 kilometers, and that was really, I was in this race mindset, like I was like, I didn't have much stuff with me. I didn't have enough like stuff to spend a night somewhere. So I was like I need to make it. So I skipped some things, but still it was cool to cycle along this like huge 30-kilometer dike, like just one road and then water on two sides. It was really interesting. But yeah, there's definitely a difference between like, you could say bike travel and like, what do you call that? Like just cycling, just cycle for cycling's sake. But yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's what we were talking about, van life. So yeah, I don't know. Anything else I want to ask? Do you have anything else you want to talk about or say, or?
Not sure. You don't have any other questions or anything like that?
I don't have anything here. But yeah, like I think it's cool, man. I think it's really cool that, for me at least, to talk to people that are in the same boat, and we should definitely keep contact, over the next.
Yeah, we definitely seem like we have a lot in common, so it's really cool to connect with you.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and when you cycle around Australia, I mean, it will take a while to get to Perth. Maybe I'm still there when in a couple months.
Yeah, you said you're possibly going to be riding from Perth to Sydney. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Think you'll do that?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, Joseph wants to go to Japan, so that might happen in between. But my plan is to, after Japan, go back to Australia. Maybe go to the Sydney area, or go back to Perth to work a little bit more.
Yeah, you never know. We might cross paths.
We'll never know. We'll never know. All right. So yeah, let's almost an hour in. I think it was quite a nice talk. Thank you so much, Codey, for being on the podcast today. Your episode number 6, so that will come up. Yeah, give it 3 weeks, something like that. I'm trying to spread out my publication of my podcast episodes. So yeah, I think it will be good. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Tice.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really fun. We'll keep in contact, and good luck on your journeys in life as well as on the road. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right,
the best.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.